By now, we've explored Hofstede's 6 cultural dimensions: power distance, individualism, uncertainty avoidance, achievement, long-term versus short-term, and indulgence versus restraint. But real negotiation is never just one dimension. Cultures are not mathematical formulas, and people are not cultural robots. The real challenge and the real skill is learning to see how these dimensions interact. A culture may be highly structured, but also deeply relationship-oriented. Another may appear informal, yet still highly competitive. 2 countries may score similarly on one dimension and behave completely different because of the others. Germany and Japan, for example, both show relatively high uncertainty avoidance. Both value preparation, quality, and reducing risks. But negotiation behaviour often feels very different, because the surrounding cultural patterns are different too. And this is something I've experienced repeatedly in my own life and my own work. Even after more than 30 years of living and working in Germany, I still occasionally encounter moments that surprise me culturally. Sometimes it's a reaction, sometimes a discussion, sometimes simply a different assumption about planning, communication, or decision making. And that's probably the point. Cultural understanding is never really finished. Because cultures evolve, people differ, and every negotiation contains its own mix of personalities, pressures, expectations, and experiences. That's why cultural models need to be used carefully, not as stereotypes, but as tools for asking better questions. Good negotiators don't walk into a room thinking, I already know all about these people. They walk in thinking, what matters here? How is trust built? How are decisions going to be made? And how can I adapt without losing myself? Because cultural intelligence is not about acting, it's about awareness. The more we understand why people approach situations differently, the more effective we become in negotiation. We become more patient, more flexible, more observant, and usually more successful. Technical knowledge matters, preparation matters, strategy matters. But understanding expectations, communication styles, and decision-making cultures often determines whether negotiations move forward or quietly break down. And perhaps that is the most important lesson of all. Most international negotiation problems are not caused simply by incompatible goals or interests. They're caused by different assumptions. And once we recognize that, international negotiation becomes far easier to navigate.